"Sir, that boy lived with me in the orphanage," the homeless black girl cried out when she saw his portrait. She stood barefoot in the marble hallway, staring at the portrait of a man who once promised her they'd never be apart, but that was before the world tore them in two. Lena hadn't eaten in 2 days. The November rain soaked through her worn jacket as she wandered through the wealthy neighborhood, searching for shelter. At 17, she'd learned to make herself invisible, head down, eyes low, don't make trouble. But the wrought iron gates were open. The sprawling estate glowed with golden light, and through the windows, she could see people in elegant clothes, laughing, clinking glasses. A fundraiser, maybe. She just needed to slip into the garden shed until morning. She crept through the side entrance, her wet shoes squeaking against marble floors. The hallway stretched endlessly, lined with paintings and photographs. And then, she froze. The portrait was small, nestled between grand oil paintings. A boy, maybe 8 years old, grinning with a gap between his front teeth. He wore a faded blue shirt, the same kind they gave all the kids at St. Catherine's Orphanage. Those eyes. She'd know them anywhere. The same eyes that used to cry at night in the bunk below hers. Her voice cracked as she whispered to no one, "Eli?" Footsteps echoed behind her. A security guard's voice boomed, "Hey! What are you doing in here? Before we go any further, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Now, let's begin." Before Lena could run, a voice cut through the tension. "Wait." A man descended the staircase, his hand raised to stop the guard. Tailored suit, polished shoes, everything about him screamed wealth. But when his eyes met hers, something flickered, confusion, then recognition, then disbelief. "Lena?" His voice was barely a whisper. She couldn't breathe. 13 years had carved away the boy she knew, but the gap in his smile remained. "Eli, you got out." He stared at her, taking in her soaked clothes, her hollow cheeks, the worn sneakers. His jaw tightened. The party noise faded behind them as silence swallowed the space between who they were and who they'd become. "Sir, should I?" the guard began. "Leave us," Eli said quietly, never breaking eye contact with Lena. The guard hesitated, then retreated. Eli took a step closer, his hands trembling. "I looked for you. After the Harrisons adopted me, I tried to find you. They said you'd been moved to another facility, but," his voice broke. "Why didn't you wait for me?" Lena's eyes filled with tears. "Wait for you? Eli, you left." "I was 9 years old," Eli said, his voice rising. "They chose me, Lena. What was I supposed to do? Say no to a family? You promised." The words tore from her throat. "The night before they took you, you held my hand and said we'd stay together. You said brothers and sisters don't leave each other behind." Eli flinched like she'd slapped him. "I tried to tell the Harrisons about you. I begged them to meet you, but they said," he stopped, turning away. "They said what?" Lena's voice dropped to a whisper. "They said one child was enough." The shame in his words hung heavy in the air. "I was 8, Lena. I didn't know how to fight them. And then I got comfortable. New clothes, new school, warm bed. I convinced myself you were okay. That someone else adopted you too." Lena laughed bitterly. "No one wants a black girl with a limp." She gestured to her left leg, the one that never healed right after the accident. "I aged out at 16. Been on the streets ever since." The color drained from Eli's face. Behind them, laughter echoed from the party, a stark reminder of the world he belonged to now. "I didn't know," he whispered. "God, Lena, I didn't know." Lena wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "It's fine. You got your happy ending. I should go." She turned toward the door, but Eli caught her wrist, gently, desperately. "Please. Don't." His voice cracked. "I know I failed you. I know I took the easy road and tried to forget the hard parts. But seeing you now," he pulled something from his pocket. A small, faded photograph, creased from years of being folded and unfolded. It was them. 2 kids sitting on the orphanage steps, her head on his shoulder, both smiling despite everything. "I kept this," he said, his hands shaking. "Every single day. The Harrisons gave me everything, except the one person who actually mattered. I built all of this," he gestured to the mansion, the wealth, the life around them, thinking success would fill the hole you left. But it never did. Tears streamed down his face now. "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to let me fix this. Let me be the brother I should have been 13 years ago." Lena stared at the photograph, at 2 children who loved each other before the world taught them they were supposed to be strangers. "How?" she whispered. Eli led her upstairs, past the curious glances of party guests, into a quiet room. He wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and brought her warm soup. They sat in silence at first, the weight of 13 years settling between them. "The Harrisons are good people," Eli finally said. But they never understood why I kept that picture. Why I'd stare at it some nights and just cry. He looked at her. I'm successful now, Lena. I run a foundation for foster kids. Ironic, right? Trying to save everyone else because I couldn't save you. Lena's fingers traced the edge of the blanket. You were just a kid, Eli. We both were. But I'm not anymore. He knelt in front of her, his eyes fierce with determination. I have resources now. Influence. This house has 7 empty bedrooms. I'm not letting you go back out there. Not tonight. Not ever. Something cracked open in Lena's chest, years of walls built from rejection and survival. You mean that? I never stopped being your brother, Eli said, his voice steady now. I just forgot how to act like one. Let me remember. Let me prove it. Lena looked at the childhood portrait hanging on his bedroom wall, a copy of the one downstairs. He'd never really let her go either. She nodded, tears spilling over. Okay. Eli pulled her into a hug, and for the first time in 13 years, Lena felt like she'd come home. Not to a building, but to a person who'd always carried her with him, even when he tried to forget. Outside, the rain had stopped. Inside, 2 orphans who'd lost each other had finally found their way back. Do you believe some bonds are too strong to ever truly break? Thank you for watching till the end. Click subscribe and let me know the lessons you learned in the comment below, and turn on the notification bell because tomorrow I will be giving you another story just as interesting as this one, and you don't want to miss it.